Well, I guess it's time for an update. SERGEI DRATCHEV here, Lansing, Michigan. So finally I'm back on the road. And first things first, some people were saying some nasty things about that funny video I did, imaginary conversations. No, I'm not going crazy, you know, that's creativity, you know. And how I came up with that idea, in case someone is still not sleeping, is that when I was a kid, and I'm recording with a lot of people find this lens very amusing, so Ion Speed Pro, and turns out I can flip it. Now it's on my windshield, right? So that's how I use it for the dash cam, but turns out I can flip it and it points right at me. You know, the only problem is there's no screen, right? I cannot see, but I know approximately. It's actually pretty easy because the angle is so wide. I know even if I sit here, sorry, it'll still catch me. But anyway, so how I came up with that idea when we were kids, and I remember we were riding electric bus, you know, back in those days in Russia. They were all crazy about electricity. Everything was run on electricity, whether it was profitable or not. All buses, you know, steamers, everything was electric, you know. Railroad. So anyway, we have this electric bus that had two big sticks, and there's like two power lines, and this bus runs with these long sticks. I don't know, maybe like 6 meters long, 20 feet, and they're touching those lines. So of course this bus you cannot just go, you know, say, hey, I don't feel like working today. So I think that's how they keep you in check, you know, because they know that the driver of this bus cannot veer left or right. He or she, mostly was women, you have to stay under the lines. And trust me, there were so many cases when they were going too fast, or they would make a mistake, and then, you know, these two sticks, they had some springs under them. They were spring loaded, like pushing against this line. So the whole town was covered in electric lines. I'm not kidding. But I mean, so once they rip away from these lines, those kind of like ears, you know, these big sticks, they start going like this, up and down, because of the spring. Anyway, so we would ride that for like 40 minutes from my apartment building in Kirovograd to my high school. This was like grade 9 or 10. Yeah, because in my area there was only 8th grade school. So after grade 8 I had to take the bus, this electric thing. And so there's like 40 minutes because this thing stops. There was no on-demand stops. Every time, like, I don't know, 300 meters, you know, 800 feet, there's a stop. So it takes forever. So it took me like 40 minutes. So me and my buddy, you know, how do you kill time? So you sit at the window and you try to find funny characters on the other side that we're passing, you know, and we would see a guy, you know, riding a bike or something, and we would try to come up with some imaginary stories, like, who is this guy? Okay, this guy is a spy, and he's going to you know, to a secret meeting. And why is he riding a bike? Well, his car broke down or something, you know, like, and we would just come up with these stories, you know. For kids, when you're a kid, it's like effortless, you know, and we would just spin all kinds of yarns, you know. So I'm surprised I still can do it, you know. 53 years old, I still remember something. I mean, you just have to imagine being somebody and try to be funny. But I think that ambulance thing, out of that monologue, my favorite is the ambulance, because it would really be sad on one side and funny on the other, you know. Anyway, the news are that I'm getting rid of my last name custom tag or plate on my Ram 1500. So I just ordered, paid the huge fee. Geez, it went up like 50% compared to when I got this one. So now the license plate on my pickup truck will read HHTV, and believe it or not, it was available, you know. I stood for like an hour in the lineup at the local MTO office, you DOT in US, but here it's the Ministry of Transportation of Ontario. That's where you go to fix any car or driver's license related issues or whatever. Get stickers, annual stickers. So I'll go there and I say, hey, I want to change my license plate. And she said, okay. I said, here's what I want. And we double checked that she got it right. I said, yeah, H is in Henry, H is in Henry, T is in Tim or Tom, V is in Victor. And she typed it in. She says available. Hey, would that be debit or credit? I said credit, of course. Why you use your own money? So that's news number one. News number two, I went to the same place where I got signs for my trailer. It's called 1 Hour Signs. These guys are really good, very supportive, will explain to you everything. Like, that's what I call customer service, maybe because they're not yet big, because they just appeared there in Cambridge, Ontario. So when there, I said I want a big sign for my pickup truck. And after thinking and trying different options, and it cannot be too long, right? So you gotta keep it short. So now I'll have signs on each fender on the side, because the rear I saw it get splashed with mud, so you will not see letters there anyway. But on the fenders in the back, it's very nice, not much mud even in bad weather. So it's gonna say Heavy Haul TV in yellow, like industrial yellow, like a cat excavator. Heavy Haul TV, then italics, Free Trucking Show, and then in white, and then again in yellow, smaller letters, find it online. So Heavy Haul TV, Free Trucking Show, find it online. And of course the license plate is HHTV. So I'm shooting for another 10,000 subscribers this year. Now, slightly smaller news. I sent an email to my company saying that I want to stay till the end of the year. Yeah, I'm not leaving now. It's just I was working on something, but things were taking way too long, and I was supposed to leave on August 23rd, and it's already August 11th, and I still haven't done anything. Like, no progress in this new job, So I sent him an email. I said, if it's okay, I can stay till December 31st. And the dispatch double checked with the owner, and they said, well, actually, we already hired a guy. He's starting tomorrow. A guy with the same truck as yours, 4-axle truck. But it's okay. You can stay. So now, of course, I'm staying, but I'm worried. Like, will there be enough work? And this time they gave me was like a short run. They gave me kind of like a frame with some rollers, like what they used to like in a post office, like a big post office factory, where they have these boxes with letters, and they go left and right, and they have these rollers, right, that spin. So it was the same kind of thing, like a big open sides piece of frame, maybe, I don't know, 8 feet tall, 7 wide, maybe 18 long, and inside it had a couple of these lines of rollers. And they told me this is used for skids at the auto parts place, like the skid, and it has hydraulics. So the skid goes like down at an angle on one line of rollers, like horizontal pipes, so to speak. And then it kind of like tips over or something, all the parts get out, and then somehow it flips back and goes the other way. So anyway, so it's like a very smart gadget to unload skids pretty much automatically, with auto parts. And only 2,000 pounds, like very light. The only problem is that I really hate getting up early. I'm in Cambridge, and this was Burlington. Burlington, Ontario. Actually, a very nice town right next to the lake. It's a whole bunch of towns there west of Toronto. You know, there's Oakville, Burlington, Hamilton. They all kind of like transform into each other. Like there's no strict frontier, you know, or edge. Like once you're in Oakville, then boom, you're in Burlington. And Oakville is very expensive, you know, because it's right next to Toronto. But Burlington, it's kind of like between the industrial Hamilton, where all these steel plants are, you know, and people wear gas masks, you know, half of the time, and Oakville, and there's the lake. So anyway, I like that little town, and real estate is not that expensive. But anyway, so it's 50 kilometers or 30 miles from me, and dispatch says they want you there. Pause. 6 a.m. 6 a.m. and it's 30 miles away. So of course a smart thing to do would be to drive at night on the night before and then sleep somewhere there on the street in the truck, but I really don't like this, you know. I was staying at a hotel, so I got up at 4:30 a.m. because I know you normally need at least half an hour to start driving, you know. Like I went to a coffee shop, and the goal was to start driving at 5. So I went to a coffee shop, you know, brushed my teeth, you know. So yeah, I slept in the truck. And 5:15. So yeah, it usually takes actually 40 minutes, 45 minutes. That's, I know. So let's say if you want to start driving at 5, you gotta set your alarm clock for 4:15. That's the rule. Maybe, you know, you guys correct me, but I find that no matter when, at night, during the day, it's always close to yeah, not 30 minutes, but more like 45 minutes from the time you get up to the time you finally ready to drive. You know, you did your logbook or your e-log, whatever. You have your t-shirt out inside out, you know, the wrong way, and you have your pants one leg at least, so you're ready. So, but I made it. I was there like at 6:05, and yeah, I was surprised people were still already there, and I just backed back. They said back into the building, and I look at the entrance, and right away I see that I'm gonna catch the ground, because it, you know, like in most of these places, when you go inside the factory with this big door, a rolling door, like there's a big, you know, kind of like a hill there, and it's very sharp. So I started my Honda, 13 horsepower, amazing, and just raised the trailer to the maximum, and I didn't catch anything. And they lowered it with a crane, and I put some straps on it because it's very light. So 3 straps because it's under 20 feet, more than enough. And the best part was that it needed tarping, but these guys had an overhead crane. That's how they, you know, loaded this. And I double checked with them. I said, guys, is your crane strong enough? I said, this is no joke. This tarp weighs 120 pounds. And they look at each other, and one guy says, well, this is a 5-ton crane. I said, well, yeah, that's what they want you to think, you know. So we tried, and surprisingly the crane lifted. You know, we put some bungee cords on the sides of the tarp, and they lifted, dragged it over, and I secured it. And actually it didn't rain. It didn't rain because they were afraid that they didn't want this thing to be you know, dirty inside, because all the stuff flies from the wheels. And when they finished, they gave me the paperwork, and the guy who was operating the crane says, okay, so I'll see you there. So what do you mean? You're going there? And he says, yeah, because it's only 5 hours. It's basically, the delivery place was just south of Lansing, in a small town called Holt, and not H-A-L-T. Oh, that would be logical, right? But this is a small town, and it's spelled H-O-L-T. Henry Opera Larry Thomas. Holt, Michigan. Basically a suburb of Lansing. So he drove in his car, a pickup truck. I drove in this truck, and the border took like an hour, you know? But I made it. I was probably there around 3 o'clock, and they unloaded me, helped me with the top, but there's nothing, no loads. So dispatch says, what do you want to do? You want to drive back? What, another 5 hours back? No way. I got up at 4:30 today. I said I'll go to a truck stop. Maybe you'll have something tomorrow from Illinois or something, you know, maybe pick up a machine. But so that's what I'm doing, and those are all the news. And actually I switched off the camera just to collect my thoughts, and of course I lied about that being all the news. The most important news to me is that I decided my pickup truck was too quiet, and so I'm getting again a Flowmaster, but a different version. Like what I have now is called American Thunder Kit, and it's moderate sound, and the muffler is 50 HD, so it's pretty big. That's why it's pretty much quiet, like there's no drone. But the same American Thunder Kit you can get with aggressive sound, and then they use a different muffler. It's either Super 40 or Super 44. So I did more research online, and I ordered Super 44, which is pretty loud, but we'll see how it basically it's 3 inch in, 2.5 inch out, like two of them. Just one muffler, but because I have dual exhaust, but it's kind of like a pseudo dual exhaust, right? So there's one pipe coming from the engine, two pipes coming out of the muffler. And I got it directly from Flowmaster online, just $100, and they're gonna ship it to a place in the States, and I'm gonna pick it up just not far from the border. So either I'll pick it up when I'm driving in my big truck, or I'll just drive there in my pickup truck. Oh, and finally I decided to fix the bumper. I don't know if I mentioned this, but in winter, right, the wheel slipped on the ram when I tried to get out of the snow, and with the side of the bumper it hit the side of the trailer, and there's like a big nasty, you know, you get like damage on the side of the bumper. And when I went on a trip, I left my pickup truck with a Chrysler dealer over there, and I brought my the quote they gave me before. It's gonna be expensive. Jesus, just a big scratch, and it's like it's pushed in. You know, it doesn't, like, you know, a truck is 1 year old, and that thing over there, I just wanted to fix that because, you know, now I have this heavy hole TV theme, right, with the license plate, and then I'm gonna have these signs. So I want the truck to look nice, and so they're gonna fix that one when I come back. So now that's all the news. So hopefully tomorrow I will have a load, and there was nothing to show this time, so that's why I didn't record the loading and unloading, because this was just some stupid frame, you know, not a machinery, not a piece of machinery or equipment. So hopefully I'll get some kind of an excavator or dozer, or at least a bobcat, or maybe a scissor lift or boom lift or something, you know, something with wheels, and preferably with tracks. Stay tuned.